From the On Target Digital Marketing Podcasting Studios in sunny Orlando, Florida, it's the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast with Tom Jelnick and Tom Craig. It's a beautiful Friday frickin' afternoon here at the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast. I am your way over caffeinated host, Tom Jelnick, joined with the amazing
hunky-dory Tom Craig over here.
Tom Craig is hunky-dory.
I am. I'm feeling it today. It's just a fantastic Friday, Tom.
It is, man. I'm feeling it. There's a cold front like trickling through here. It's going to drop down to a balmy 89 degrees soon.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Got all the wood ready for the fireplace.
Yeah, and the crackling fire.
Looking forward to it. You know, that's a Florida winter.
Pretty soon here in Florida, they're going to be setting up those Christmas tree tents, Tom. They come up everywhere, and I love it because it says like frosty covered trees. I'm like, the hell they're frosty covered? They just probably ship these in from frickin' Georgia.
So one of the favorite things, and I've got to just say this for our listeners up north, one of the funniest things that I saw when I moved down here to the south around Christmas time was the refrigerated tractor trailers that hold the Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a phenomena down here for us Floridians that like everyone, as soon as the pumpkin patch opens, the kids get all jacked, they get excited.
Yep.
The in-laws want to come along because it's cute and they want to take pictures.
Yeah.
You drag them along in the minivan, whatever. So you get there, you take out the walkers, you push them along.
The Walker Brigade.
It is a brigade.
It is.
So here's what happens, Tom. You pick out these prime pumpkins, right?
Yep.
You got these big old honker pumpkins.
Ready to roll.
You bring them home.
Yep.
And you know what they do, Tom?
What's this?
They rot.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's hotter than hell here.
Another thing I learned when moving down here.
Yes.
Yeah, that was quite a disappointment.
It is. You will carve a pumpkin because the kids are excited. They're jacked up. You bring them inside the air conditioning. You clean them all up. You carve the suckers, make all the mistakes, cut your finger, pretend that you're going to eat the pumpkin seeds later, which you never do.
Yeah.
But you bring this poor thing out, and then the next day it's covered with mold and rot and mildew, and it turns into a pile of pumpkin schmutz.
That's a great way to put it. Or you go to lift it up from the ground and it all just falls out the bottom.
It's just nasty.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's Halloween here in Florida.
Yeah, welcome to the South.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So, but you know what we do know how to do down here, Tom?
What's that, Tom?
We know how to build a wireless network.
And drink moonshine.
We've got multiple. We can multitask.
We could drink moonshine and set up your network.
I tell you, better than most people.
Yeah. In fact, I'm sipping on. Never mind. It's for another show.
But yeah, and I do, and I'm not kidding when I say we could be 7 sheets to the wind on some Florida moonshine and still do a much better job than what I see in.
Yeah, it's made out of fermented pumpkin, Tom.
And you'd still do better than these guys. It's amazing what we walk into.
Well, you've seen it all, my friend. I know you've sent me text messages of not only the in-laws screwing around on the couch. You've also sent me text messages of some disastrous-looking wired-up connections at people's business networks, and I know you've seen it all at home networks.
Yeah.
Man, all of these wires, Tom, they're plugged in, they're crisscrossed, they're getting pulled and tugged on, and you don't want your wires tugged, Tom.
And then they wonder why it doesn't work.
I know. Why doesn't it work?
Yeah.
I've got latency issues. It's not working, blah, blah, blah.
Well, how come when I'm in the front of the office, I have to connect to the front office wireless, but then when I'm in the back, I have to connect to the shop wireless?
Yeah.
But if I want to go outside, well, then I can't connect to any wireless.
Yeah, you can. You're wireless.
Yeah.
You're screwed outside.
Yep. So you know what I recommend for setting up a mesh network?
What do you got? Why do they call it mesh, Tom?
Because it's just like laying a piece of mesh over the entire property.
Yeah.
That no matter where you're going to go, you're going to have signal.
I've got a couple mesh T-shirts, Tom.
Yeah. That was things that our listeners probably didn't want to know.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a nice little number.
Yeah.
It's black.
Did it go with the mullet?
It in a thong.
Yeah,
but it's nice. It's freeing. It lets the air circulate around your your breastal region. So it's very nice, Tom.
I think my father-in-law has one of those same shirts.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm quite certain that I've seen it. But the therapist, Dr. Franz, thank you again for wiping that memory away. It was worth every penny.
Whiskey does that for me, Tom.
Yeah, is that what it is?
It's a lot
that
cheaper.
Florida pumpkin fermented stuff?
That's something.
Well, so getting back to the mesh networks, not the mesh of the Moonshine.
Right.
But as I create is a company called Ubiquity.
Okay. Sounds fancy, Tom.
Well, it's as fancy as a Cisco and not quite as expensive.
Okay.
Yep. So what Ubiquity has is a device for about $100 that you can plug into a switch.
Okay.
And it's what they call a cloud controller. And that is, if you will, the brains for your wireless network. And you program it, and then from there, you buy wireless access points that are about 100 to 150, depending on the model that you get and the power. But you plug in these various wireless access points around the property, and the cloud key automatically sees them, and then it determines where you are and what strength is strongest to the closest wireless access point, and it will hand you off from access point to access point as you traverse the area around your property.
Well, that's pretty freaking cool, Tom. That's what that sounds like? Like cellular technology.
Yep, exactly, but on a much smaller scale.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Holy crap! My mind is freaking blown today, Tom.
Well, I just came from another business earlier this week in Sanford, and that was one of the things that they had is they had 3 buildings, and each building had its different networks, and each floor in each building. So depending on where you were, was where your laptop or your MacBook or your iPhone or whatever would connect to. So you're jumping from network to network.
Got it.
With this, it didn't matter which building you're in, if you're walking across the parking lot, whatever it is, the cloud controller knows where you are and gives you access to the closest point. So
Well, it sounds a lot like Google to me, Tom. It knows every freaking thing there is to know about you.
I learned that this week myself.
I know share that story. That's hilarious. Well, not hilarious for you, but hilarious for me.
It's not hilarious for my wife because now the house is covered in aluminum foil. Thank you very much. But no, the staff here at On Target's nice enough to be giving Advanced System Solutions some direction and some assistance on.
And we've gotten some wonderful assistance from Advanced System Solutions with our cabling. So
yes, sir.
It's a wonderful relationship, Tom.
I tell you, it's a great partnership.
It is.
We appreciate it. But
Likewise.
But with that, you directed us towards our Google Analytics, so that forced me for the first time to log into my portal and see exactly how it is. How are things going here at Advanced System Solutions?
Yeah.
And what I found was, oh, heavenly mercy, look at that. You can see everywhere I've ever been, every comment that I've made towards any restaurant that didn't give the in-laws the peanuts on time.
Oh, they got to have the nuts, Tom.
Or gave them, caffeinated coffee as opposed to decaf coffee.
And God forbid the nuts aren't salted.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to glaze over that with the decaf and cut the coffee, hoping to distract you. But
Sure.
But you're right. They got to have those nuts.
Yep, the hot, salty nuts.
There you have it. I got nothing for that, Tom. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. But
You're welcome, by the way.
yeah, thank you. So with that, you've completely thrown off my game. I love it. That's fantastic.
Well, we're talking about Google and how much it knows about you, Tom.
Yeah, it did. Just everything that I've ever done, every place I've ever been, it was right there under the hood.
Yeah.
And I thought, how on earth can I delete all of this in one fell swoop? And you can't. It's just out there.
No, they've got it backed up on 90 billion servers.
It's public information at this point.
Yeah, there's people in Kyrgyzstan sitting there watching you right now.
So for those people, if you really want to know what I was complaining about at Cracker Barrel, it was because Nana didn't get enough cream for her coffee. So there you have it.
Well, as long as Nana got her nuts.
That's right. Who cares if she gets the cream along with it?
So, yeah, Tom, we should probably move right along from that one. But
well, for the home, what do you prefer, Tom? I know you've got a couple devices that you've leaned
there's a couple
on.
tricks up my sleeve, Tom. Yeah, a couple things in my sack.
I've got nothing.
There was
for
crickets
that.
on that one,
Yeah,
Tom.
there were. I enjoyed that.
So, yeah, at home, I ran into a challenge with certain devices didn't want to cooperate and the signal was starting to get weak on the other end of the house. I don't live in a friggin' mansion or an estate, but it's just like built in the 80s, old enough that sometimes the signal doesn't want to go through the wall or.
It's strange how that happens, isn't it? There always seems to be one room that's a
Yeah.
black hole for
Yeah, it's
wireless.
a dead zone. You don't want to
Yeah.
be caught dead in that room, Tom.
And it always seems to be the trouble spot for the loudest person. The squeakiest wheel is in that room.
Yeah. They're in there.
Be it Nana, be it, my poor niece Maggie, who was stuck back there trying to do her homework and had no signal in her room. And
It's terrifying, Tom.
it is. It's horrible for the person on that end.
Yes, it is a terrible user experience.
Yep.
So I got turned on to this super duper cool product called Google Wi-Fi.
Yes.
A really ingenious name for it. But essentially, I bought 3, and it comes in a 3-pack.
Okay.
And one is kind of like your base. So that hangs out with all your tech crap toys in your home office or whatever. You plug that sucker right into the network. So then you go find the areas in your house that need the signal the most or where you think it's going to disseminate it the best and position them. You can change the lighting on them because they're pretty cool looking little devices. But man, it levels the internet in the whole house, and you can run tests on it. You can check your download speed. You can set up separate little networks that you can turn your kids off.
See, now that's awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Or separate the Internet of Things devices, put them on their own little network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's super cool. And, it'll run you about 300, I want to say 320 for a 3-pack. They also sell them onesie twosies. So if you only need 2, that's cool too. But
the price alone of segmenting all those things off, those IoT devices.
Oh, yeah.
That's worth the price right there alone, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Now, granted, it's probably radiating the bejesus out of my house.
Well, what isn't these days?
Well, yeah. I mean, the bearded dragon's growing like a couple different appendages.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool, man.
It's going to win the science fair this year.
Damn right it is.
Yeah,
And I've got
yeah.
the best internet connection on the planet.
Blue ribbon right there, So, well, with that, Tom, you know what time it is.
Is it already time to dig into our sack, Tom?
I think it is. I'm anxious to get to this one.
Let's reach in, move some stuff around in there, and
Pull out a letter.
All right. Who we listening from today?
So I've got Paul, and he's right here in Maitland, Florida.
All right. I like Paul's question.
Paul's cool. He's kind of cool. He's one of my best friends.
Yeah,
So I can't
yeah.
say much about him. But
All right. Well,
so,
Paul, I got to say that your question today was fantastic.
yeah, there's a lot of pressure riding on Paul's question. So, but here's the deal. Tom, what is it? What was Paul?
Well, yeah, Paul wanted to know about if he does set up these wireless networks, does he need a different device for the guest network?
Oh, I got a device for the in-laws, Tom.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a device for him too, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah, have you seen those spikes that go on the ground that they catch like the not gophers, but what are those things that burrow moles?
Yes.
Have you seen these devices?
No.
So it shoots a spike straight through them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're they're
There
gone.
you go.
I mean,
I was picturing the baseball bat with the nails in it, but that was a different Halloween
That's effective
story.
too, Tom.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Just hanging over the shoulder gets the
yeah, I
message
see
across.
that. I get the vision in my head.
Yeah.
Hey, Maud, come back here. I want to show you something in the dead room.
Exactly. Yep.
Bring a shovel.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Paul, great question about that, and let's cut back to the ubiquities, if I may.
It's ubiquitous, Tom.
It is. But what it allows you to do is carve off that guest network.
Yeah.
And so you rename the guest network, on target guest.
Right.
So people who come here would connect to that. And the beauty of that is not only is it segmented, so if somebody should bring in an infected device into your organization,
Yes, we don't want the infections.
that it will not traverse onto your network. And the other advantage is you can throttle the speeds of the guest network.
Right.
So if you let's just say you run a business where you have a waiting room for your guests, and they bring in a couple kids, and the kids break out the iPads,
Sure.
and they want to start streaming.
Yeah,
You
they're
don't want-
watching Phineas and Ferb.
Yep.
It's involved.
You don't want that impacting the speed for your business.
Right.
So what I would do is only carve out maybe 20 or 30% of bandwidth for that guest network, so that the kids streaming everything will never impact the business.
Right. So the kids get 30%, I get 70, Tom.
Love
that just
it.
seems like a fair,
See?
even split.
That's democracy right there.
That's what our country was built on, Tom.
Amen. The 70-30 split.
So, Paul, I hope that clears things up, and always a pleasure to reach into our mail sack, and,
Yep.
and love to hear from our amazing listeners, Tom. And we've got quite a variety now of listeners.
We do.
The T Squared Tech Talk podcast is taking off like gangbusters. We're having a blast. Keegan's having a blast, even though I don't think he's paying attention to a
No,
damn thing we're saying right now.
You know?
And, we're just pleased as punch to be here, Tom.
I am. And you know that you and I both enjoy talking technology, and anytime we can help somebody, we're all about that. So if there's any topic that anybody would like to hear about, want to dive in, send us something to the sack.
Yeah, you want to talk about nodes, you want to talk about LANs, you want to talk about apples, of course you do. You want to talk about how crappy PCs are, we're your guys, and we're here to help break this tech down to bite-sized chunks, Tom.
Absolutely. And I think we do it well.
We do. So let's recap a little bit today. We talked about hot, salty nuts. We did. We dug deep into that. We talked about home networks. We talked about business networks. We talked about a couple great toys like the Google Wi-Fi and the ubiquitous Ubiquiti.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's spot on.
So we'd love it if this information was helpful for you. I mean, share it. Share it with Aunt Maud. Share it with Cousin Joey. Share it with that guy down the street or that janitor that keeps bugging you.
Just don't tell my in-laws.
Yeah, let's keep this on the DL from Tom's in-laws and my in-laws, because Jesus, are we going to be in trouble come Thanksgiving?
Amen. It won't be a fun time at the table then, will it, Tom?
No, you're damn right, and it's going to take a lot of Jack Daniels, my friend.
All righty. Well, I'll be making the stop.
Hey, Tom, where can people find out more about you and your amazing, you help people plan networks, design them, lay them out, actually lay the cable, and set up devices. Where can people learn more?
From soup to nuts, Tom.
Yeah, hot, salty nuts, Tom.
That's right. We handle it all here at Advanced System Solutions. But we can be found on the internet a lot easier these days thanks to...
Thank you. That was nice, Tom.
Yeah.
To ontargetdigitalmarketing.com. So thank you so much for spending time with us. May your nuts be salty. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.
This podcast was recorded at the On Target Podcasting Studio.